Okay, thank you. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm thankful to be here and I'm excited to talk to you all. And I didn't get to participate Monday, but I've enjoyed the conversations today and hearing about all the things that are going on. It's really encouraging. From the TDOT perspective, Tennessee DOT, I'm going to focus on a specific program. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself because I think it's sort of relevant to where I'm going to go with this presentation. I came to work at TDOT at the DOT in 2020 in March. And prior to that, I was a vice president at a technical college in Knoxville. So I've kind of had my toe in both worlds for a little while with the higher ed to now the DOT focus. And I've had the opportunity to work with TDOT over the years in relation to this specific program. I'm going to talk about the TDOT Reconnect program. You want to go to the next slide? Okay. So in order to kind of frame like TDOT Reconnect and why we started doing it and where it began, I'm going to kind of touch on some of larger state of Tennessee initiatives that started really back in 2014. The Drive to 55, which was a statewide initiative to really focus on getting Tennesseans equipped with a college degree or certificate by the year 2025. And I think we all know in these conversations that our workforce and the needs of the workforce are changing rapidly, like moment to moment, it seems like these days. And the technology that is being developed, we have to prepare a workforce to be able to manage that technology. Then we might not even know what that's going to look like in 5 or 10 years. So these are all things that in 2014, Tennessee was looking at and saying, we have to do something. Because at the time, 32% of Tennesseans had achieved a post-secondary credential. And when I say post-secondary credential, I mean a technical certification, an associate's degree, a 2-year degree, or a 4-year degree. So that's encompassing all of that as being a value add to like the workforce. And one of the things that at the time when I was at the technical college, this was happening, that I heard that was coined that I'm going to say was really the focus of K to J. So when you talk about K to 12, like kindergarten through 12th grade, well, really, this is about kindergarten to job. And how do we get a kid starting kindergarten all the way prepared and ready to join the workforce and ultimately be able to, provide for their family and provide for themselves and be a contributor to the overall community. So with that, Tennessee is kind of unique, I think, maybe compared to other states. We have in the higher education system of Tennessee, we have 27 technical colleges, 13 community colleges, and 12 universities. So there is a very good, very good range of pathways and institutions to serve the various workforce elements in the state. Well, TDOT, I'm going to go to the next slide, recognized the importance of this initiative and plugged into it very early. But first, I'm going to talk a little bit about TDOT's workforce, which I think is kind of maybe, I haven't done specific data analysis on this, but it might be representative of like the community at large. Our head count at TDOT is about 3,900. And I took this is from a very recent staffing pattern. When you look at technical positions, operation technicians, automotive technicians, TMC technicians, those types of positions, the head count is 2,127 or 53%. So a significant percentage of our workforce is really in those technical areas. And then when you look at TDOT as a whole in terms of educational attainment, and you can see the numbers here, over 50% of the workforce of TDOT really has a high school graduate or equivalent. So when you look at the TDOT workforce, there is a tremendous amount of opportunity to help develop the people within the department, to help build their skills, to help them become better employees, better citizens, and more confident in what they can do and how they contribute to the overall department. The next slide, please. So now I'm going to come to the TDOT Reconnect. And what is it? Well, it really is a continuing education program. And it's really geared towards employees who have not completed that post-secondary credential or education. And TDOT wanted to take those technical positions and take that population of employees and help them develop transportation-related skills, provide career advancement opportunities, and also fulfill lifelong dreams of completing a degree or furthering education. So that sort of frames where we are. And this was back in 2015, I think, when all this started. And I'm going to go over a little bit about how it began and the partnerships. And I think it kind of adds to the larger conversation about alignment and connections and institutions and systems partnering and working together for these common goals. So TDOT reached out to the TCAT that I worked at back then and was interested in exploring how TDOT could plug into these overarching, Drive to 55 goals in Tennessee. So without getting into the complexities of programs and accreditation and higher ed and how all that works with open enrollment and who can offer what, we decided that the most effective way to get this up and running was to develop a special industry program that was really geared towards TDOT specifically. And so what we did was we identified, or TDOT identified, some subject matter experts within the department and we brought them together, and they outlined a curriculum and competency guide with a specific focus on, at the time, construction and maintenance. I know that that's not necessarily the same pathway we're talking about maybe in larger in this group here, but I think the concept can be sort of put together with any really technical pathway. And so the subject matter experts, when they came together, they identified these positions that we had, these people in these positions, and what is it we want them to be able to do? Like, what is it at the end of the day we want these positions to be able to accomplish? What competencies do they need to have? And so at the end, it was a big one-day intensive session where our folks came together and put this together and created a curriculum and competency guide that would be established to develop and execute this program. We can go ahead to the next slide. And so the curriculum that was developed, as mentioned before, was really designed to give employees a comprehensive overview of transportation-related skills, including some mathematical concepts, business writing, and computer skills. And so it focused on a combination of classroom discussion, hands-on experiential learning, and really ended up, once it started, there's 17 courses. And in Tennessee, in the technical colleges, it's a clock hour system. So it was 375 clock hours. And originally it was originally supposed to be about an 18-month program, but as the years have gone on, it's been condensed and modified to be about 12 months. So employees that are going through are able to do it in 12 months. Embedded in the curriculum are 2 TDOT specific certifications. You can see those here, and materials and test. And then also, I think, which is a really important piece of this program, is the capstone project. So each cohort in the program, they're broken up into teams, and they're assigned a project to work on as a team. And it's a department-related project, and they work together on it, and they present their findings, they present their project results to TDOT leadership. And it's been, that's a really, I'm actually going to go see one of these presentations next week. And that's a really important piece of this, because it takes all the things they've learned related to TDOT, related to all the other concepts, and it really puts it into practice so they can synthesize everything they've learned and put it together in this presentation. Next slide, please. Okay, so really to kind of cap this off, the program, it's called TDOT Reconnect. The certificate that the employees receive that's offered through the technical colleges is a Transportation Systems Technology certificate, and they receive a 5% salary increase when they complete the program. So far, we've had 9 Reconnect classes across the state since 2016. We've had at least 2 in each of our 4 regions, and we've had a total of about 215 participants statewide. Next slide, please. So here we are now. We've had the pandemic, we've had COVID, we've had a lot of things that have happened over the past year. And our current status of Reconnect is all the 2020 and 2021 cohorts are complete. We're finishing up our final cohort from this time period in the next 2 weeks. And so I think we're at a point where we can really look at this program and identify, like, what does this look like moving forward? We have everybody on sync. We can move forward collectively as a state. And we really need to think about the scalability and the sustainability. How many employees can we serve and provide more access to more? When you're looking at 58% of our workforce, we're really, I mean, we're just really scratching the surface on that. So we can provide more opportunity. And I think when you look at the pandemic and the things that have not been really great or positive, there's so many things to look at that have been challenging and hard. I think from an educational standpoint, one of the things that it forced education to do is be innovative, to go hybrid quickly. And so one of the things that we had to do in one of our Reconnect cohorts is really sort of modify the delivery to be virtual. And we were able to do that with a technical audience pretty quickly and with some pretty good success. So I think the longer term discussion with this program is, how do we find a good blend of, you know, the in-person, the competency demonstration, plus the hybrid virtual, and put it all together to create a consistent experience for employees statewide. We can look at also developing articulation opportunities with a consistent delivered program with higher education institutions if employees want to move forward with their education. So I could talk all day about this and how we've done it and all the things that are great about it and all the things that we can do to sort of move it to the next level. But I'm here to answer any questions that you have, and I thank you for your time today.
So we have time for one or two questions, and I see in the chat we have one that has come in. Do you have a sense of what long-term retention will be for employees who go through the TDOT Reconnect program and staying long-term versus getting hired away?
So I think that that's part of when we look at program evaluation, that's an important part of what we need to look at now. With the 215 people that have participated in the program and completed it, we need to get some specific data metrics and specific numbers, but in all the Reconnect graduations that I've been to over the past 6 months, there have been multiple employees who have received promotions as a result. The 5% increase has been something that has been an attractive offer for specifically for those technical series and those technical positions, because, you know, being able to get more money is not always the easiest thing to do sometimes. But overall retention, I think we can do some work in really looking at and talking to the graduates and I like the concept of the stay interviews. I've heard that over the past several years, and I think that that's actually a really good way to engage our Reconnect graduates and ask them in relation to the program, did that really help you decide to stay? Because anecdotally, I'm going to say, I do think our retention rate with those people in those Reconnect programs is good. I think they feel like they were supported and invested in by the department. So I'm going to say, without having a specific number, I think that our retention rate for those is good. But I do think it allows us opportunity to look at some overall program metrics from the past 6 years.